Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to the realest podcast in the dunya, the Three Muslims. Recently, True Jordie had some comments on Andrew Tate's conversion to Islam.
Andrew Tate, mate, come on.
Andrew Tate's got God on his side now. There's no way Brian would win that.
Although I would gladly blow myself up if I could take that bag with us.
That's the use of a stereotype there, which is obviously not what he...
I'm just saying, if he really wants to prove it, do the right thing. Let's see how...
It's a stereotype.
Let's see how about that life you really are.
Yes, although, yeah, not all Muslims.
After me converting to Islam, he made a piece on one of his podcasts saying that I'm not true in my conversion, and then insulted all Muslims. Then that Muslims blow themselves up, and that I should go blow myself up. We should all blow ourselves up, making his comments about an entire religion as if that's somehow funny. Let me tell you something, my friend, and if True Jordie, if you're watching this is a message directly to you. There are certain times in life you need to know when to shut the up. There are certain things which are not funny. Certain things are not beyond reprisal. You don't sit and insult a man's religion. Just like you don't insult a man's entire company and the people who work for him, that's one thing. But to insult my religion and the religion of billions of people across the planet, making ignorant jokes about blowing ourselves up, thinking that it's going to go without consequence, you're going to learn very quickly, my friend, that was a mistake.
He later on received a lot of backlash. He was dropped from different brands like PokerStars and Gymshark. And before those dropping of the brands even happened, he released this video and aims to apologize. So let's see what True Jordie had to say in his retraction.
Welcome back to the True Jordie podcast. So let's get straight into it. I've recently made a joke online and it's caused a reaction, upset. People are not happy with it. So me and Lars wanted to come on here, talk about it amongst ourselves. We were on the stream at the time that the joke was said by me. Wasn't Lawrence's joke, was my joke, just to be absolutely clear. Just to sort of give context for it, an old friend of mine, we'll call him Mr. Potato Head for the sake of this podcast, because I know you'd be desperate for me to say his name.
That sounds trivial, but it's not.
It's just the way he is. He recently claimed to have joined Islam. Now, given some of his previous statements that absolutely contradict what a lot of Islam is about, I definitely didn't believe a lot of what I was hearing from the internet. I made a joke in questioning that newfound faith of his that conveniently comes at a time when he needs as many supporters as he can get. It was a stupid joke. As much as I don't want to repeat the joke, I think it's only right so that people have context who don't understand. I said if he really wants to prove he's a Muslim, he should blow himself up as suicide, something like that. Now, when I say that out loud, when I'm aware of it, horrendous. It was one of those off-the-cuff remarks that I made with a total lack of thought, and I used an unrealistic stereotype to take aim at someone who seriously dislikes me. Obviously, I don't believe that's what Muslims actually do, and I don't actually want Mr. Potato Head to die, as much as I don't really like him. It was a very stupid thing to say. It was an idiotic joke, one I'm sorry for, I don't believe any religious stereotype, just to be clear, whether it be all priests are pedos or all Jewish people run the world and are rich. They're all as ridiculous as each other to me. And that was partly why I felt comfortable in that moment in saying something so ridiculous, because I never thought for 1 second that anyone would take offense to something so silly.
Right.
At the time, I'm sat next to a guy who has a Muslim family, who knows how much love I have for everyone. I'm not a prejudiced guy or whatever you want to call me. Is that right? Prejudice?
Prejudice is definitely
but now after feeling out the backlash and what people are saying, and I'm talking about the genuinely upset people. I know some people will just use anything to try and take you down, and I've given them a golden opportunity. But I understand some people have had that thrown in their face a lot. And for me, as much as it's ridiculous and it's something that I don't believe, I understand that for them, some people have had years of that being said to them, and I really wasn't thinking about that in that moment. So yeah, all I can say is Sorry.
When I was sitting there, I guess when I watched it back, I was like, oh, maybe I should have said something there, even just as a friend, just to be like, oh, you can't say that. But
the problem for you is you know me so well.
Bro, if I flagged everything you said every live stream, we wouldn't get a live stream done. No, but you get what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
you know, and that's the difference is you know, but they don't know.
I know where
I get that.
I know where you're coming from, but I think, especially as a podcaster, and I think as people who, like, at least you aspire to speak for a living, if you misspeak sometimes or you say something that you don't fully understand at that point, it's also good to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I've got people who I love and respect who are Muslim who may see that and think, oh, so that's how he thinks about us.
Right, like this is like the real...
Yeah, the face has slipped, and it's like, God, like I would hate for that, you know.
Do you ever consider, I'm not trying to like put you to the sword here, but do you ever consider sort of like your own biases and your own prejudices? Because especially in my own marriage, like I think I've been forced to look at what my biases and prejudices were against Islam. And I like went into a marriage thinking I understood it in that sense. And I went into a long-term relationship like that. And actually I didn't. And actually I realized down the years that a lot of what I thought was either wrong or what you would call bigoted to an extent, where it was just like, it was a negative view of someone that I had never questioned because it had always just felt very apparent to me. And that's where the like, you know, the whole, these people blow themselves up things sometimes come from, is because that is what's reinforced to a lot of people, and that is on like the tip of your tongue sometimes, because sometimes it seems like a funny thing to say.
For me, that was like an unrealistic way.
It felt hyperbolic.
Well, yeah, because what I'm trying to say is, Mr. Potato Head should fuck off. Unfortunately, to say he should pray 5 times a day doesn't quite have the witty, bitey joke that I was looking for. I am not questioning religion. I was simply making a joke at the time about him and religion.
I understand that.
The point is I make ignorant jokes about many different things on a daily basis, and I'm online at all times. But certain things are more sensitive to certain people than others.
I was about to say, just cut it off, bro.
Yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts on that, man.
All right, man. So first off, I just want to say that the apology doesn't seem sincere at all. And, you know, Allah knows best. Allah knows best what's in our hearts. And if it was sincere, well, then this is what ego does to you. This is what ego does to you when you can't humble yourself. When you can't humble yourself, you end up being humiliated, and it's by your own hands. Literally. Like, if you can't step down, then, like, you're literally going to humiliate yourself. And, I mean, technically, that's what he did. He can't try to take that back. He can't try to say it was a joke. He can't try to say that it wasn't a slur or something like that. Like, I'm sorry, man, but you're saying that some people are sensitive to it. It's not that Muslims are sensitive. It's that we are intolerant of disrespect, of literally not even stepping on the boundaries. Like, you pretty much just shit on it, bro. And you can go ahead and edit that out, man. But I'm serious, man. Like, you can't come back from that, bro. And exactly like Andrew Tate said, just wait.
It's funny because I believe he posted this apology first, and then afterwards, regardless, Poker Stars and Gymshark dropped him as an ambassador for their brand. So, and I have a bit of a, I mean, my take doesn't differ too much because I'm not dumb. I could see as well that there's a lot of it just doesn't make sense. A lot of it seems staged. A lot of it, people are saying like the video's monetized. He says like and subscribe at the end, like things like it just really seems like this is forced, and that he doesn't really care very much, and he has alternative motives. But at the same time, I think there are some times where pointing that stuff out and questioning it is important. And I think it is good to mention it in a situation like this, just so people aren't confused. But I actually made my first response to this was actually inviting him to Islam as well. And I know that sounds a bit funny or whatever, but if you think about it, the reason he's in this situation is because he has a lack of standards. He has a lack of like where to draw the line in his life, right? And I think Lawrence has a little bit more of a line, but that line I think is more dictated by society and by people, which means it's always going to shift. But going back to Jordie himself, he doesn't have a line, right? There is no line that he was given, no line that he has that he knows not to step over. So as soon as he stepped over that line, he realized, okay, that's pushing the boundaries. I shouldn't do that. He tries to retract it, but obviously it's too late. And that's what Islam does. It gives you a boundary of where not to cross. And we know that certain boundaries, once you cross them, there's no going back. And khalas, it's like you've already messed up. You can't retract whatever you've done or whatever you said. And Islam stops you from doing those things. Islam gives you a solution for life. And I think that's why Andrew Tate actually accepted Islam, like he mentioned, because it has these boundaries. Because Muslims are people who actually enforce what they believe. They preach what they believe. And a part of preaching what we believe is preaching to even people like Jordie. People who, you know, a lot of Muslims will quickly shun and turn away and be like, you know, you're whatever, call them whatever. I'm not going to say any rude terms here. But actually with these people, we should invite them to Islam because that's what they're lacking in life. They're lacking God. They're lacking Allah in their life. And Lawrence as well. He has a Muslim family. So it seems to be the case that he grew up with a Muslim family that maybe wasn't practicing the right way or maybe enforced it on him and that pushed him away later on. Allahu Adam. But I'd like for the opportunity to be able to talk to them, give them dawah. And I think somebody should for real. I know that's kind of a major like sub point to the actual video itself, but I think what you said was explanatory enough.
Yeah, maybe I came off a bit harsh, you know, and it might even sound like it was a threat on my end or was a threat on Andrew Tate's end, and I don't think that's it at all.
Yeah,
I don't think that's it at all. So if you actually dig deeper, like what I'm saying, it's not that the Muslims are gonna do something to this guy, and Allahu Alam, bro. Like Allah knows best, right? You might have one of these Muslims who's like, "Yo, like that's it," right? But I'm not trying to conclude to that. I'm saying like at the end of the day, like we have to answer to Allah. We have to answer to the Creator. So even if all the Muslims didn't do anything to you for your entire life, at the end, you have to answer to the Creator, bro.
Yeah.
And if you're all right with that and you're cool with that, then hey, that's all I'm saying, bro. Is you can't go back from this.
So to true Jordie, Allah says in the Quran, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. He says, and this actually Noah, peace be upon him, he says to his people, and basically say, I seek forgiveness from Allah. Or I seek forgiveness from God. Indeed, He is the most forgiving. Then he says, يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا, that He will basically like send blessings from the heavens upon you. وَيُمْدِدَكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, and He will bless you with children, and so on and so forth. He'll bless you with heaven, He'll bless you with paradise, and so on and so forth. And all you have to do is seek the forgiveness of God. So Jordie, all I want you to do is ask Allah to forgive you. Just ask the Creator to forgive you, and humble yourself, and truly recognize, listen, I have beef right now. I'm fighting these people. I'm fighting this guy, and everyone hates me, or whatever you're thinking. And know that you're gonna die one day. إِنَّكَ مَيَّتُ وَإِنَّهُمْ مَيَّتُونَ, and you will die, and they will die. Everybody's gonna die one day. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ عِنْدَ رَبِّكُمْ تَخْتَصِمُونَ, and then later on the day of judgment, everyone, you guys are all gonna dispute about what you talked about on earth, right? You're all gonna dispute. We know that for a fact, that the day of judgment is going to happen. Everyone's going to be held accountable. So do you want to live a life and die this back and forth of stepping over the line and retracting, stepping over the line and retracting? It's useless, man. It's honestly useless. You will be so much more content when you focus on the one who created you, when you focus on staying within the boundaries and preaching that which makes God happy. And that is, I think, also why Andrew Tate accepted Islam. He realized it was the truth, and now he has a mission, and that's why he's propagating Islam to people like Aiden Ross. So I invite you to come do the same. Come accept Islam. The Muslims will back you. The Muslims will support you. The Muslims will take you under their wing. And the Muslims will be there to help you as a brother. You will be our brother in Islam. Look, with Andrew Tate, you know, he said some things in the past. But as soon as he accepted Islam, we know as Muslims, everything was wiped away. We forgive him for that because Allah forgave him for that. And now we're taking him as a brother. And there are many brilliant Muslims out there that are teaching him and helping him grow in his religion and adopt the truth fully. And we invite you to do the same, inshallah.
Inshallah. And damn, you made me feel like ass now, bro.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Let me retract what I said, that like that he can't take what he said back and all that stuff, which technically he can't take it back. What's said is said, but it's not to say that he can't be forgiven, because there's been people who've done way worse things than what this guy has done. So like, yeah, was I harsh? Yes. Was it necessary? Yes. But also, we invite you to Islam, bro. That's it, man. That's it. I think you said it best, Rami.
طيب. And with that being said, اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.